Welcome to the Vegan Squad Pod, a podcast made to inspire vegans to become activists. Join us and our guests as we deep dive into effective forms of activism that we believe will change the world. Whether it's going to vigils, building a physique that shows people we don't need to eat animals, public speaking, or any other form of activism that you'll hear on this podcast, we want to empower you to find your voice and to speak up for justice. Thank you so much for being here and enjoy the episode.
What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another phenomenal episode of the Vegan Squad Pod. And today, boy, do we have an exciting guest. And he is known as none other than John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan. And today he will be interviewed by our two awesome hosts here. We got Alex, aka your Vegan Mentor One, and we've got Alexis, who is going to be a little bit brand new to this episode and this podcast, but she might be a returning guest. She's a huge part of the Vegan Squad team, so we're excited to bring her on. And I guess technically she's the guest today, but she's going to help interview me. So, Alex, you want to bring her in, give her some background?
Sure. Yeah. Alexis helped us start Vegan Squad in the very beginning. John found her profile, her little pink profile, and reached out to her. And she's been a huge player behind the scenes, helping us with our community at first, and then moving into brand management for Vegan Squad and also for John, and just helping us all with the content side of things. So yeah, Alexis, please take the stage.
Hey everyone! So thank you so much for having me on. It's so amazing to be on here and obviously to work with such incredible people. But for all of you listening, hi, I'm Alexis, one of the Vegan Squad coaches, and I am very excited for this episode.
She's just a big ray of sunshine, so I'm excited for y'all to experience her energy.
A lot of sunshine per square inch, because Alexis is a little on the smaller side. I didn't realize that you were slightly under 5 feet until we started talking together, because your energy is so big. You always take up whatever room you're in, and it's been really cool building this alongside you. So definitely going to have to do a deep dive on you sometime in the future to learn how you've turned your full-time job into activism. And that is a big part of what we do here, is promote activism and show people how they can follow in other activists' footsteps. So I guess today we're going to be talking a little bit about mine.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we're going to kind of follow how other episodes have been structured, just learn more about your vegan journey, what got you to this point. Wanted to talk more about your fitness journey as well, because as we know, you are the bodybuilding vegan. Couldn't have gotten there without fitness. So I'm excited to learn more about that. And then finish the episode off with asking what message you want to pass forward to other activists after your now 20 years of veganism. So yeah, let's take it back to the beginning. What started your vegan journey?
I guess, Alex, I'm sorry you're going to hear this for like the 18th time.
Probably more at this point, but it's okay. I love it every time.
Well, I think it's important to note that, at least for me, I feel like I've told this story a lot. And for a while, I just wanted to stop telling my own story, because I felt like I'm just boring people with the same story over and over. And it doesn't feel like my story is like that revolutionary, to be honest with you. Like it just feels, I guess to me, it feels normal. But all of that being said, I think it's important that we keep telling our own stories. And I try to remind myself that it's important to tell my story, because that might encourage somebody else to continue sharing theirs, or somebody might not be there able to tell their vegan story yet because they're not vegan, and they hear your story and they resonate with some part of it. So my long-winded vegan story, I'll give you guys the long one, I feel like starts early. The earliest that I could remember thinking this, vegan was not even a word in my head, but thinking that animals had rights and that animals deserved respect could start as early as 4 years old. My dad took me to our cabin, and we would commonly fish there. And that morning, he asked me if I wanted to have fish for breakfast, and I said, sure. I think my 4-year-old brain at that time did not realize the little fish that swims in the water is the same fish that we eat on a plate. I almost thought they were two separate things. Trying to think of a concrete example of that right now. I can't. Maybe like night and night, like both in English, they're the same word. They sound the same, but they mean two completely different things. Anyways, when I realized that for me to eat fish that morning was going to have to be my dad pulling the fish out of the water, the fish suffocating to death on this dock in front of me, it freaked me out. I don't know. At 4 years old, I probably didn't think that animals deserved like rights, but watching another animal seemingly die in a painful way upset me. And I threw myself on the ground and started crying. And I guess my dad decided to put the fish back in the water. And then I always end that story with a little joke that I probably ate a ham sandwich next. And at that time, at 4 years old, I feel like unless the world is designed for you to be vegan, you're not, or at least you're not even given that opportunity or that choice. I feel like all of us are born vegan. I feel like all of us are born kind. I feel like all of us are born not to be racist. All of us are born not to be sexist, not to be anti-gay or really anti anything. I feel like when we're born, we kind of come in through a clean slate, but then by those that we're around and the society that we grow up in, we get kind of pushed in different directions. And so for me, my direction was to continue eating animals. A very long-winded story. So I was like 9 years old back with my dad, and hunting was a big part of his life, especially growing up. You could maybe even make the argument that for my dad's father, it was necessary to feed the family. But my dad wanted to take me hunting at 9 because he had already been hunting for a few years by the time he was 9 years old, and took me hunting for squirrels. And if you've ever been in Florida, there's squirrels everywhere. Cute little creatures that play with nuts and trees. They also run in front of cars. But at 9 years old, I felt like I was stuck with a dilemma. Like on the one hand, I really don't want to let my dad down. Like if he expects me to do this, I feel like I should man up, as they say, and go through and go find a squirrel to hunt. On the other hand, I really, really, really did not want to kill this small animal, especially if we had plenty of food back at the house and there was some other way to get through the day. So I was clever enough at 9 years old. I guess kids can be devious too. I was like, I'm just going to aim for the ground and not shoot the squirrel. Like if he's on the ground, I'll shoot a little bit below him, scare him off. Luckily, we saw no squirrels that day, and I was pretty good at shooting, so I would probably have to intentionally have missed. I don't know. Maybe I would have, but I definitely was not comfortable taking the life of a squirrel. Which then is like, well, then why do you eat animals? Great question. Anybody listening that's still on that not yet vegan fence, if you don't enjoy taking the lives of animals, why aren't you vegan? I would love to know. If you're 9 years old, I understand. Been there too. So 10 years rolls around, and at my parents' house, my best friend would always come over after middle school. And wow, this story feels long. You guys are patient. Thank you for listening. My best friend comes over, and her mom, I guess she somehow came across vegetarianism at her school or something. We went to different schools, best friends, same age. And her mom got us McDonald's, and she looked at me and she looked at the burger and she pointed at me and she's like, if you eat that hamburger, you're killing a cow. And I became angry and defensive and told her that her mom bought it and my parents said it was okay and her parents thought it was okay. The rest of the world did it, so why couldn't we? But even as I said all those things, I knew she was right. Like logically, I even remember thinking, like, can you take part of a cow off to make a hamburger without killing the cow? I was like, I'm pretty sure you can't. So, and then that sounded weird. That sounded weird to like just go around and take a chunk out of a cow without killing it. So, and I said killing him or her. Cows have genders. Yes, thanks, Alex. That's another big piece. We're gonna drip in bits of activism. We do not refer, unless we make a mistake like I just did here, we do not refer to animals as it. Same with bugs or any other living sentient creature. We refer to them as he or she to the best of our ability, or they or them. If we just don't know. I don't know if that butterflies was a he's, a she's, a they's. Could have been any of them, but it was not an it. They were not an it. Anyways, it's hard. It's hard when you grow up. It's like learning pronouns for the first time. If you grow up learning this way, you have to consciously work on how you think so that we can present better, I guess, better arguments, better ways of thinking about the world so that other people, if we ask someone to kill that cow versus kill him or her, it's a harder ask to kill him or her. And I realized that these cows were dying for my hamburger. And I had already been pretty heavily bullied at the time, so I damn sure wasn't going to label myself as vegetarian. But I figured if I could cut out certain animals from my diet, at least I would save them. So I wanted to save the cows, the chickens, sheep, goats. I don't really think I ate many goats as a kid. but I was stuck on turkey and fish. One, fish, because I felt like fish were lower on the ecosystem. Go watch Seaspiracy if you want to have your mind blown there. And then turkey, just because I was like one of the only meats that I enjoyed eating. But I remember, this is the long story, guys. I'm so sorry. I remember eating at Captain D's here in Florida, a little catfish, I guess it was, or whatever it was, and I got whatever he or she was before he or she ended up on my plate. It's so hard, but we're gonna keep working through it. And I thanked him for each bite that I took of him. And then that seemed really weird. I got like halfway through and I'm like, I could just not do this. Then I don't have to say these weird thank yous that make me feel guilty. So I stopped eating fish. And then came Thanksgiving and there was a dead him or her turkey on the plate in front of me. And it was at that date and that decision that I decided I'm done with this. I'm done eating animals. I'm not going to do it again. I was 10 years old. Didn't know any other vegetarians. My friend that helped me go vegetarian, I think at that time she was still experimenting and like wasn't able to stick with it. But I mean, hey, we're like 10 years old. Like, what are you going to do? But that was it. That was the last time I ate meat, at least intentionally. I know that there have been restaurants that have made mistakes, or my dad has made mistakes cooking things and leaving them out on the counter wrong. So like, I'm not going to say I'm sitting here perfect, but the last time I intentionally ate meat was 23 years ago. And we're not even to the vegan story yet. Should I stop or should I keep going? I feel like I'm the only one talking here.
No, keep going, dude. Well,
Yeah,
unless
keep
that's
going.
a question.
All right. Well, I thought that was it. I thought going vegetarian was it. I thought that would save all the animals in the world. I thought I was doing my part, and I kind of did that and just stopped thinking about it until my mom, I'm sure she freaked out at the time, but God bless her, she decided to get me a PETA magazine to teach me how to cook some new things. And on the way to middle school, she handed it over and said, hey, here's this magazine. You can learn to cook some things. But it also said on the front page of that magazine why vegetarianism is not enough. And so I'm this like analytical, I think I know everything just like every other 13-year-old on the planet does. And so I go in here ready to use my grand logical analytical brain to teach this person, whoever wrote this article, how wrong they were. And sometimes you're presented with new information that makes you go, holy shit, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. And when I realized that these cows that I was saving by being vegetarian were still being forcibly impregnated, their babies taken away the moment that they're born. And guess what? As soon as a dairy cow, as soon as she stops making milk, and actually the funniest part is not when she stops making milk, it's when she stops making enough milk that they go ahead and kill her and turn her into a hamburger as well. So I realized, okay, milk's off the table. Well, let's learn about factory farming for chickens and hens. So, and an egg laying facility where people eat eggs only, they only need female chickens because a male chicken does not lay an egg. So it's basically worthless. So all these little male chicks that hatch, they are immediately thrown into industrial shredders and shredded alive. And actually, that's better than the alternative. It's better than being born a female and living your whole life in a crate and basically having your eggs taken away until the day that you're killed. It was such an awakening moment. I remember being so upset. The first time I'm going vegetarian, I was upset at the world for being set up this way, but I was upset with myself at 13. Like, why couldn't I have thought of this? Why was I not smart enough to realize that when there's money behind any product, that there is the chance that humans or animals will be abused or exploited to get that product more cheaply. And so I realized looking at my mom in the car that I had to make a change. And that was 20 years ago. And I thought it would maybe I thought I could last for a week. I thought maybe this is like, I knew in my heart I wanted to do this, but I did not know a single other vegan on the planet. Instagram wasn't a thing yet. I think it was a year later that my ex-girlfriend in middle school made me a Facebook page. So like I was in the dark ages, not quite as bad as people like Ella Majors or Robert Cheek that were like 10 years before me. But for me in my own world, I was in the dark ages. When people say it's hard to go vegan, it was for me back then. It's not really for you right now. Not in the same ways. So I made that decision. I fucked up like 3 days later, had some peanut M&Ms. My dad offered them to me at the movie theater. My dad sounds horrible in the story. He was an extremely supportive father and definitely did a lot to help me get here today. So shout out to dad. Would not be here had he not supported me at 13 years old and bought me a bunch of vegan food. Like he definitely tried. But it was easy to make mistakes. And that's really where I thought the journey ended. I thought, like, hang up, okay, podcast over, nothing else to say to you guys, that's it. But that's how I went vegan. But I realized that there's levels. Like there's vegetarian, and then there's vegan. And then I think the next level up is like being a vocal vegan and then being a full-blown activist. And I'm sure there's probably a level above this that I still don't know yet. But the more that we can do to speak about this, the better. And that's literally why we have this podcast. But that in a nutshell was my very long vegan story.
So, just to give us a bit of context, how I know that you've been vegan for 20 years. What year was it?
So to give you guys some context, that would be 20 years. So like 2005. I guess we're going on 21 years. My vegan body can drink legally in the United States. 21 is the legal drinking age here for those of you that are out of the country. Yeah, like 2005.
Okay, so that was a really, really long time ago. And as you said that there weren't many vegans, that you didn't know any other vegans. How was the journey like for you? Like, was it incredibly lonely? You mentioned that you were bullied before that.
Yeah, I mean it was even lonely being vegetarian. I remember being made fun of for that. Funny enough, shout out to Matt Mitchell. I wonder if he'll ever watch this. He was a kid in middle school, and sometimes we were friends, but honestly, sometimes he bullied me, and he made fun of me for being vegetarian. And now, I mean, in high school, we ended up kind of making up, but now he's actually vegan himself and like runs a little animal sanctuary. So it's like it's funny how the world can completely change. But yeah, no, it was hard, and I think it was hard too because the internet and things like that were still relatively new for me. Like I know I could play Warcraft 3 and like some strategy games online, but like I didn't really think like I can go find other people doing this or that there are other people doing this. I mean, I had never it took me years to meet another vegan in real life. Like that was really, really, really hard. Like to even just realize that there are other people doing this. But then it would be like I'm 15 and it's like some 45-year-old woman that does it at her church that's Hare Krishna as well, and like it's for other reasons or like along the similar lines, but like it had nothing in common. Like to find a peer that was vegan, oh my god, like impossible. A lot of people poo-poo on social media, but it's how I found my vegan family. I think it's such a small niche that if you're gay or if you're trans or if you're vegan, like you're like 1% of the population, maybe a slight bit more for any of those groups, but like finding other like-minded people is going to be hard just walking around town. But to answer your question, because I don't feel like I hit it fully, walking around town back then for me, I never had any vegan apparel. I didn't have a vegan head tattoo. I didn't have any place that I felt really fully safe like announcing that I was vegan. So I fully know what I did is I covered up who I was to fit in. I really just toned that down. I don't care if you eat meat in front of me; it doesn't bother me. Oh, it's okay that you're not vegan. I'll bring my own food. You don't have to cook for me. I have my own food. Um, it's your own journey. It's your own personal choice. Do whatever you want. It doesn't bother me that you're killing and eating defenseless animals. And now I'm a little bit bitter, but at the time I really just covered up that it bothered me because I guess like in a sense, like how else do you get through that? How else do you be around people that don't act as if they value animal lives whatsoever, or that it's the right thing to do, or that it's compassionate, or like put you down for being too sensitive? So I think there's probably somebody out there listening to this that doesn't have a strong vegan group right now or a strong vegan family, and for them it probably feels the same way. Like it's easier. I wonder, even I don't think he'll listen to this, but my own brother's vegan, and it almost seems like he reminds me of a younger version of me. So like I try not to place judgment on him or unrealistic expectations, but he still doesn't have vegan friends. All of his coworkers, all of his friends are not vegan. Actually, one of his best friends is very close. So that might be a slight exception, but he hasn't like actively sought these people out. And so I think my brother and I don't even always see eye to eye because I think he's like younger me that still just acts as if none of this is that big of a deal. Because it's easier to live in a world where this isn't a big deal than to live in a world where it's something that I can't stop thinking about every single day now.
Yeah, and sometimes like I think to that point it's important to leave your comfort zone. Like if your comfort zone is staying quiet, like it's important to speak up, to find other like-hearted people so you don't have to dim your light or dim your understanding of the world. I don't even want to call it like an opinion. I think any reasonable person that looks into the animal agriculture industry and sees all the ways that it intersects between human rights, animal rights, the environment, like it's just the reasonable, logical thing to do is to go vegan. But yeah, man, no, I have a lot of respect to you for navigating all of that. And I'm grateful that you started using social media and that you found vegan friends and family and created Vegan Squad. Now we even have an online community. And to your point of like, I don't know what's above activist. I think being a vegan business owner is the next step, and being an activist at the same time. So it's cool to hear your journey from the very beginning. And also it was cool to hear like the different stages and how you said at some point, we're all born into the world like not we don't know what oppression is, whether it's animals or trans people or gay people or like anybody. And it was cool to hear like when you were 4, you were like you had like a sense somewhere deep down inside of you that this was wrong, and that came up for you multiple times throughout your journey. So it was cool to see like how it just evolved over time, and like you like thank you to Tommy Ray. Shout out to your bestie from when you were 10 for helping you see it and for her seeing it herself. But it was cool to hear like the evolution of your path throughout all this time.
Thanks, man. I think what I would want people to take away from this is like you're gonna have some forks in the road throughout your life and some opportunities that are thrown your way. And how you act in those moments could literally change your life forever, for better, but I guess potentially for worse. I mean, shout out to Tommy Ray, like you said. I mean, that day forever changed my life. Would I have found veganism eventually? Maybe, but I also know myself. I'm extremely stubborn. I think had I found bodybuilding at 15 and veganism at 18, after 3 years of being indoctrinated that you have to eat meat for protein and that you have to do these things to be a bodybuilder, if I had hired a coach that said I had to, if I listened to the personal trainer that I walked into the gym at 15, the first time I went into a commercial gym, told me that I would never build any muscle as a vegan, that I needed meat to build muscle. Like if I believed I mean, I believed him at the time, but like if I subscribed to those beliefs and started acting in that way and then eating animals again, or had never gone vegan in the first place, I don't know, man. It could have taken me another decade or two to wake up. And so I'll forever be grateful for her for that. I don't know who wrote that PETA magazine issue. I'll forever be grateful for them. It's been a minute since I've mentioned it here publicly, but Brent from One to Save Many, like he sent me a vegan t-shirt back in like 2021, 2022. 2022. Yeah, it was right after my show in 2021. So in 2022, he sent me a vegan t-shirt, and that was like the first one that I ever wore to the gym or made a post about. That was the start of like my activism career. And so like those little moments where things can change, it can completely alter your trajectory. And so I encourage you to keep your eyes open and watch for when the next one's coming. That's why I said like activist is here, but like something, I guess, Alex, you're right, vegan business owner, because if you own a business, you can directly and indirectly endorse activism. So definitely a huge part there. But yeah, I think that was me up until about 13 is as far as we got.
Cool.
So on that note, how did your fitness journey start? Because now you're physically huge. You're also huge across social media. Like you literally are the bodybuilding vegan, have been for such a long time. And I know that you're such a big inspiration to many. How did that all start?
Oh boy. It makes me feel almost like uncomfortable to accept any of this. And I think that anybody else that has gotten to this level probably feels a similar way. Like I used to not want to show people my Instagram because I'm like, they're just going to see the numbers and like treat me differently, either be intimidated or want something from me. But I've noticed too that some people aren't that way, especially some of the other people that have gotten that far, typically really kind people. I feel like doing this podcast, we've seen a lot of people that have impressive followings, but they're still down to earth people. Everybody's still a person. So yeah, I mean, I was always into sports. Went vegan at 13, started wrestling at 14, and did that until I was 15. And after that wrestling season ended, we had some like off-season conditioning where we'd lift weights. And I remember the very first session that I ever went into the gym with him, I was like so intimidated because I got pretty good at wrestling, but then they throw me into this area that like I have no clue what I'm doing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. But I loved it. I was like, this is so cool. Like, this is what I want to do. And I quit wrestling, just started working out. Me being myself, I'm always a little too much. So I thought the best way to grow would be to train twice a day, 6 days a week, while riding my bike to the gym each way. Like, I had no clue what the fuck I was doing, but I was in the gym every single day. I still have the little Excel spreadsheet that I printed out and color coded like back from like 2008. Like, I still got this handwritten. It's still either at the gym. I left some at the gym in case I ever went back. I haven't had a membership there in a decade, but they always kept them in the file cabinet. It might still be there. I fell in love with it, dove right in, and basically made no progress because there was no way I was able to know how much food to eat to grow from that. But yeah, basically started completely clueless. And I was clueless for a long time. I mean, 15 all the way up until 21 was just regular lifting. But at 21, I decided I wanted to compete for the first time. Had no coach and clearly had no clue what the fuck I was doing. Um, but I still always loved bodybuilding. Even after that show, I told myself I wouldn't compete again, that wasn't going to be for me, but still never missed the gym. And then after a while, got into like 2019, I was like, I might be able to compete again. I competed twice in 2021 after hiring my first coach, and he got me there. And then I hired another very good contest prep coach, Justin Jacoby, and we competed once in 2023. And then business and other related activities started to take off and take a lot of my time. So I've kind of stepped back from that competitive career side. Um, I guess this is like a very long-winded story, but yes, got into bodybuilding, and social media was never an intent. It was I never wanted to become an influencer or anything like that. I literally thought, I don't think I was very good at like organizing on my phone. So I was like, instead of like creating folders to hold photos for my contest prep in 2014, I'll just use an Instagram account, and it'll be like my own little personal journal and diary. And I'll just put little photos of me getting ready for the stage, or like videos, like so I could check my physique and like see how I was progressing. So if you scroll back 5,000 something posts, you'll still be able to find those back then before I had any clue this would go anywhere. And I didn't want to be the bodybuilding vegan. I wanted to be bodybuilding vegan. But somebody took that handle and made like 3 posts back in 2012, and they've never made a post since, and the handle's still active. But the bodybuilding vegan was not taken. And so I took that one, and I guess the rest is sort of history. Never intended to get here, never had a desire to be an influencer. I was like, never like, ooh, this is gonna be me, or even this could be me. I didn't even think it was possible, much less that I want it. So that was a lot.
So you mentioned that you hired a coach, and before that you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, which I think we can all resonate with. How do you think okay, first of all, how important do you think it is to have support, especially on your fitness journey or on your vegan journey, considering that you didn't have any on your vegan journey? And how did that impact you and get you to where you are now?
Oh my gosh. How important is it? If I could teleport or transport time and go back and kick my younger self and tell him to lose his ego, we could have had this podcast a decade ago. I have 18 years of knowledge in bodybuilding, but with the right mentorship and like application, I probably could have done this in 6 7 years, maybe, like realistically, maybe even potentially less than that, but realistically that probably 6 or 7 year transformation to get here. Still impressive, I would say. Like, if you dedicated your life to bodybuilding and did nothing else for 6 or 7 years, you could do what I'd done, and it took me 18. um you don't know what you don't know. And I think that was why I waited so long to hire a coach, because I just didn't know how little I knew. I thought, well, I've read everything I can find on Reddit, and I've talked to people about bodybuilding, and I've been in the gym every day for the last decade. Like, how much could this coach know that I don't? And holy shit, it was just like eye opening to had me try new foods. Like, I had never tried TVP at home. I had never tried to make my own seitan. So those sound small to me now, but at the time they were revolutionary. They added entire proteins I had never tried, and really showed me the importance of accountability and discipline. Like, I thought I was disciplined because I went to the gym all the time, but I didn't weigh and track every single meal every single day. I didn't check in with photos every single week and compare from week to week. Like those were both huge, but then also now being a coach and looking back, like it's cool to learn about yourself and you can learn a lot of things about yourself. But when you work with hundreds of other bodies, hundreds of other humans that all have varying degrees of athleticism, mental aptitude, the ability to like push themselves, their own spatial awareness of their body. When you work with hundreds of people like that, you learn so many things. And that was what my coach shared with me. And then led to my desire to get a little bit more knowledge and want to continue working with him more, which then led to me taking on a couple clients myself, just basically to pay for my coach. And again, at some point in time on this, we need to cover limiting beliefs, because my limiting belief was if I can get enough people, it will just cover the cost of my coach. And that's as far as I can take it. Like my coaching's free. I had no clue that I could actually run a 6-figure business doing this and help hundreds of people around the world. I thought, I'll get a couple people around town and that'll pay for what I need. But I can't even speak for the importance of having some sort of like coach in the vegan scene, because while my coach, the bodybuilding coach that I had at that time, he was plant-based for periods of time. He wasn't an ethical vegan like myself. So he knew some tricks, but we weren't fully aligned on ethics. And I think it would have just made life so much easier if I had some sort of like vegan inspiration or role model to help mold me or guide me or encourage me. And I think when you're also in the fitness space, it's really hard if your coach isn't vegan, because at least with a lot of the clients I work with, they'll say things like, well, my coach asked, could I just try to eat some meat? Or my coach asked, could I have whey protein? Or my coach told me to eat 4 ounces of a protein, but I didn't know what that meant, because, with animals, 4 ounces usually is a pretty clear measurement. But are we talking tofu? Are we talking tempeh, TVP? Like now it could just be anything. So for me, I don't know what it would be like to have a vegan coach. It's never happened. My first coach was plant-based from time to time. My second coach was an IFBB pro that knew how to put bodybuilders on stages, but didn't know anything or even really care about veganism. So I can't even say what it would be like, how valuable it would be to have a vegan coach at this point in time.
So with the people that you coached, how obviously you being vegan and you having such immense bodybuilding knowledge and now coaching experience, how important do you think it is for someone to have someone that isn't just like doesn't just have the experience and expertise to help them achieve the body transformation or the confidence or whatever it is that they want, but also having aligned values and being able to understand where they're coming from and how they're feeling on a day-to-day basis as a vegan?
Yeah, I think as a coach, like the thing that we strive for the most is communication. Like the absolute goal is to have the strongest communication that you can. It's almost like a relationship. Like, I don't know, maybe my partner does something that I wasn't like super okay with, but she comes forward and she's very honest about it. Like I can work with honesty. We can get the train back on the tracks with honesty. Same thing with clients. Like mind blower for me and any other current coaches out there. Your clients might lie to you. Not all of them, but some of them will. And like I'm over here like scratching my head looking at numbers like there's no way they're eating this many calories and still gaining weight. Like that's pretty low calories. I don't feel comfortable taking them down. Their cardio's already maxed out and they're gaining weight, and then find out like you see it on their Instagram. They've been out drinking that night. They've been to Dunkin' Donuts. They've been eating all kinds of crap. And then you're like, they checked in on Monday and said they had no meals off planned. I guess somebody stole their phone and had a good time. It just blew my mind that a client would maybe lie to me about that. So communication, though, extremely important, because the better communication we can have, the more we can work on the plan. And I feel like you're more likely to communicate effectively with people you trust, people that have similar values, ethics, and beliefs. And so for me, I think it's huge. I think that's why my clients seek me out. I would say the majority of my clients have come from working with another coach that wasn't vegan. I just picked up a bodybuilder, and like her coach had no clue what they were doing with her. She was eating, like I plugged it in my fitness pal, almost 200 grams of fiber a day, over 200 grams of protein a day, and she's 140 pounds. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is it like mentally it did not make sense. And so yeah, we completely changed our plan, but the coach just like it's hard for people to like coach on what they don't know or don't understand. So rarely would there be even a physique based coach that's able to coach a vegan effectively because they won't even know the foods. Like they could program the macros, but a big part of like what the vegan squad does with coaching is not just throw macros at people, because that's not, in my eyes, that's not coaching. Like you're not telling them what foods would be beneficial for their goals, what foods might keep them feeling fuller or would be more beneficial for their health. So all of those reasons, I think if you're vegan, you should definitely work with a vegan coach. Like otherwise, it's just, I guess you could learn your form or your posing from a coach that's not vegan. But for the nutrition side, it just blows my mind that there's still vegans out there going to non-vegan coaches just because they happen to be the coach at their local gym or it's a coach that their friend used. Like it just blows my mind. And it doesn't even have to be vegan squad guys. Like I'm not only advocating for vegan squad. You don't want to work with us? I'll send you to other good vegan coaching teams. But like work with a vegan coach.
For sure. Yeah. I'm happy to touch on like the communication and like the physique aspects. I'm curious how having a coach also impacted your mindset, like your belief in yourself and kind of the mental aspect.
I would not be the person you see here today had I not had some really solid coaches. And granted, I, I do look at people's moral character and I do value veganism with people, but I do feel I could learn math from somebody that's not vegan, right? I could learn another language from someone that's not vegan. And so I could learn other things about myself, even if the teacher isn't vegan. Of course, I would prefer the teacher to be vegan, but these coaches, what they did for me, one, helped me get through some dark times. I went through ending an engagement with my first coach, and he basically had my back there because I was being abused in that relationship. Like I remember texting him saying, "Hey, this just happened to me. Is this normal? Like you've dated more people than I have. Is this normal behavior?" And I remember him specifically saying, "If they're throwing things at you and breaking things, that's a sign you need to leave." And he literally said, "You haven't been abused enough yet, but once you are, you'll get out." I was like, wow, I feel the truth in those words. I'm not ready to make that move right now, but it was just like being vegetarian right before going vegetarian and hearing that I was killing a cow. Like, I know I need to stop. I'm going to hurt myself a little more first. But my second coach, I think what Justin really, 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 really did for me was help me see how fucking strong I was in so many ways. I went through a very hard for me breakup, hardest moment of my life, my darkest time, the time where I did not know who I was or what I wanted to do with my life, to the point where I, in some moments, just really considered not being here. And I remember asking him for some advice, and he told me I had three things to do, and it was eat my fucking food, do my fucking cardio, and nail my fucking training. In those words, he said it just like that. And I was like, okay, all right, I can do that. I'll just follow the plan. I can do that. I can do that. And what I did was I tried to tell myself, like, make decisions today, even though you don't even feel like being left on this planet anymore. Like you could probably just not eat or not sleep for the next 3 weeks and whatever. We'll see what happens. But make decisions today that 6 months from now, when you're feeling better, you're proud of. And that was how I got through many weeks, was just every hour telling myself that, not wanting to disappoint my coach. Like that was it. It wasn't enough for me. I didn't love myself yet, but I did not want to let him down. And speaking of letting him down, he would ask me to do things that felt freakishly and inhumanly possible, like deadlift numbers that if I had my family in front of me with a gun to their head, I'd still approach the bar scared, not thinking I could do what was being asked of me. I remember specifically putting on my straps one day, turning on my camera because I would film footage and send it to him, walking up to the bar and thinking, there's no way I can do this. Let me just show him that I really tried. And somehow I pulled weight that I did not believe was impossible. Like in a year, we went from my deadlifts going from like 455 for 10 to 585 for 10. No, 585 for 6. Still just like a ridiculous amount of weight. I got up to like 555, I think, for 10. Like an insane amount of weight for a year with a trained athlete, but it was that constant, never being quite far enough, always having a little bit more. Like, it would just always eke out another 5 or 10% out of me that I didn't want to give, and I didn't know that I could. And that I think is in an essence of what a good coach is. That's what I look to see for a good coach now. It's not, can you give somebody the best transformation in the world, but is it, can you take Alex and make him a little bit better than he was yesterday, and a little bit better the next day, and a little bit better, and continue that progress and continue to push them to the point of being uncomfortable, but they trust you. They trust you that the uncomfortableness is going to be worth the end result. And it always is. So I think the best coaches in the world are coaches that push you to being uncomfortable. Like, if you don't get uncomfortable, how are you growing?
And also, they believe in you when you don't believe in them, when you don't believe in yourself. I think borrowing somebody else's belief is so incredibly powerful. I know you don't actually know this. We had a conversation like about a week or so ago, and I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. And you literally said to me on the phone, you're like, I wouldn't be saying this to you if I didn't believe in you. And I was like, okay. And like over the last week, I've like smashed things, and I've like, in a good way, like I've achieved goals, and I am proud, but like I wouldn't have been able to do that without you. So I think, if nothing else, that's probably one of the most powerful reasons to have a coach and a support system, and not just a coach, but a community behind you. So when you falter, when you're going through a breakup, when you don't believe in yourself, when you're having a shit day, when you're tired, when you're just like, I can't do this, like I can't do this weight, and you've got someone going, yeah, I know you can. You're like, all right, and you go and do that thing, your world changes.
You're gonna make me cry over here. No, Alexis, you're so awesome, dude. And like, I think we all have these blinders as to like what we look like in the mirror or how we see ourselves. But our friends and our like true family, they can see us so much better. It's like crystal clear. It's like when I asked you to do, Alexis, some hard things. I was like, I don't want to waste anybody's time here. I wouldn't ask you. I wouldn't give you some impossible challenge. I've had a client tell me once though, he's like, I'm pretty sure you gave me an impossible challenge that I'd give up. I'm like, no, dude. I just think you can do it. Like, I think with enough trial and error and effort, you can get there. And Alexis, you've done some big things for us. You've been a huge part of this community and helped bring a lot of people together that would never know each other without you. So it's been an absolute honor to have you here, and I'm glad to get to finally put you on air with what we're doing here with the podcast. But you're so right. It's finding a way to transfer that belief into other people, and if you don't have those around you that can help pick you up when you're down, it's like playing life on hard mode. I was just walking with Allie a couple hours ago, and Alex, I didn't even get a chance to tell you this yet, but I was like, Allie, how lucky are we that we get to live with Alex right now? Because like, between the three of us, there's at least always one happy, responsive, like uplifting person in the room. Usually two, often three, but at least always one. So sometimes Alex has some low days, and me and Ali, I think, can bring him up. I think most often I have low days. If I'm just being honest, I have the low days, and between Ali and Alex, I'm able to get through because they're here for me. And occasionally, like once a month, Ali will have a low day and open up about it, and then we can come to the rescue. But it's like you said, Alex, it's like having that person in your corner. And I think it's important to have friends, but I would not have been the same person today with just friends. Because sometimes it can be hard for your coach to be your friend because they're asking you to do things that are hard or uncomfortable, or there needs to be a degree of professionalism. At least in my own eyes, I wouldn't have learned from my friends' lessons as much as I would have with a coach. So it's definitely both, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I do feel like there is like somebody, like at least one of us, most of the time, like all of us that are in a good mood. It's cool to be living with multiple coaches. I think the thing that differentiates somebody from just being a person versus being a coach most of the time is that the coach has like just a different perception of the world. Like I'm gonna try to explain this the best that I can, but like I think that they just often have like inspiring energy, a lot of life skills and knowledge that they've built through like a lot of different experiences they've had. They're typically like a deep listener and like want to see you succeed and will continuously show up for you in a way that sometimes like our family and our friends can't. And you do kind of have that like level of professionalism to the relationship too. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least I'm basing it off of our team. I feel like everyone on this team is an exceptional person and just like, yeah, just as an exceptional person, like deep listener, big ray of sunshine, lots of knowledge, always wants to uplift anybody who's around them and just really deeply listen to them and like encourage them and help be the mirror for them to like see how they can grow and believe in them in the way that maybe like a client or even one of us can't sometimes. Like we all are just that mirror for each other. So I think that's kind of like what differentiates a coach from somebody else. Is just having like being able to be that mirror and be present for somebody in a way that others can't always. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It's that perspective, right? And then you have to be willing to listen to that perspective. I will also say, like, our team has not been picked by their accolades or their certifications or their experience. And like to some people that's a negative, but to me, our team has been picked by people's hearts. Like Alex, I didn't know much about you when I was like, I want to hire this guy way back in the day when we first got started, but I knew who you were as a person. I was like, we can work with that. Alexis, same with you. Like I thought you knew some things about some things, but if you were only here because I hired you for why I thought I originally hired you, you wouldn't be here. Like it's your heart and your character and how you show up for the team and how you're basically like our cheerleader in a sense. Like you always bring positivity, and I'm sure you've shown up like that on some days that you're not having the best day, but you still bring out the best in other people. And that's like exactly what a coach does. So yeah, definitely life-changing. I think going vegan, finding fitness, finding a coach, doing psychedelics, those are like top 4 things in my life for why I've ended up the way I am today. Maybe you could throw in some other relationships as well. I think Ali gets honorable mention. Alex, you get honorable mention as well.
Thanks.
But yeah, any other questions on that, or did we? I don't know.
No, I was gonna kind of bring us to more of a closing point or like our last question, unless you had something else to add.
That's where I was headed. Great minds think alike.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's been awesome to go through your vegan journey, your weightlifting journey, your coaching journey, your mindset journey. I'm curious now. I know you kind of touched on it with like your activism journey. But yeah, I'm curious like what that has looked like for you for the last couple of years, because you can explain it, but you haven't been an activist as long as you've been a vegan. And from that activism journey and what you've learned, what will you share with others?
Yeah, get started sooner. Like seriously, like quit waiting. Like what are you waiting for? And if you're vegan and you're not an activist, it's almost like I still have hope for you, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't even vegan yet, and like I have hope for them. If you're vegan and you don't classify yourself as an activist, and I can speak to my younger self here, like John, you don't think you're an activist. You don't think you need to be an activist. You don't even think this is that important, but you know it exists. Like you're going to end up there anyways. If you stay vegan for long enough, the only way to, in my eyes, to be sane as a vegan is to be an activist, because like, let's do this logically, right? So if you logically believe that it's wrong for you to personally kill animals, that animals have some degree of respect or a life worth living, and so you make that personal choice that you're not going to personally kill or personally pay for other people to kill animals, then you're saying animals inherently matter. Their lives matter. And so if there were people around you, both in your immediate vicinity and around the world, that were actively killing animals, would that bother you? It's either a yes or a no. You have to answer yes or no. Does it bother you that the rest of the world kills animals? If the answer is no, I don't know why you're vegan. But if your answer is no, then okay, that's fine. You can go away. But if you told me, or if you thought listening to this, that it bothers you that other people kill animals, and I'm not saying like bothers you to where you speak about it, but if it just bothers you, if you know other people kill animals right now and it bothers you, then how do you get unbothered? How do you sleep at night? How do you go throughout your day in a way that you don't go to bed feeling bothered that other people are killing animals and you're not saying anything about it. There's only one way, and it's to speak up. And I'm not trying to tell people to do things that they can't. Younger me, you could have started speaking up at 13. Like other people have spoken up at younger than 13. You could have done it as soon as you were ready, and you waited way too long to be ready. So what were you waiting for? Did it get any easier? No, it did not get any easier to speak about it. As speaking about this has never been easy for me. It's something that I've gotten more skilled at, but man, if I had never had to tell anybody again the rest of my life that I was vegan, or tell anybody the rest of my life that animals were being killed, oh, how nice would that be? I don't even know who I'd be or what I'd do, because that becomes a big part of my life now. But it would be really awesome if we didn't have to do that. So if you're already vegan but you're not yet an activist, realize it's only a matter of time, or you're going to go insane, like trying to wrap your head around why it's okay for some people to eat animals and why it's their journey and they'll get there in time. Like that's a whole lot of bullshit. Those are lies you tell to yourself to feel better about not speaking up for the animals. Oh, if I'm nice to Jeff at work, if I'm nice to him for a full year, then maybe one day he'll see it from the animal's point of view. Alex and I were talking the other day, and I feel like a good rule for dating is like 4 weeks. Like if you meet somebody and within 4 weeks you show them a couple documentaries and you tell them about the world that we live in, and ask them if it bothers them that animals are raped and killed and the babies are taken from their mothers, then it would be pretty easy, I think, in a month and 4 weeks to learn some new recipes and go on some new dates and go to some vegan restaurants and realize that you don't have to be a part of that. But if after 4 weeks they still don't have a problem and they're still chowing down on dead babies, then it's kind of like, I don't know if they're going to wake up in time for me. So when I met Allie, she wasn't vegan. She mentioned veganism like within the first message to me. Met on Facebook dating of all places. I've met every important relationship in my life that's not my blood family on either Instagram or Facebook. So that tells you something about how you might find your next partner, or how you might find your next best friend. Business partners around the world, Alexis, that also become best friends. But yeah, like within 2 weeks, Allie went vegan. Like it didn't take much. I asked her how she would feel slitting the throat of Annabelle the cow, cutting Annabelle's skin off, cutting her body into chunks, and then frying those, I guess, on a pan or however you make meat. I don't know how to make it. And then eating them together. And she's like, looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, well, we pay somebody else to do it. Why don't you just do it yourself? And that was all it took. Like she was almost there. Anyways, yeah, I'm going down tangents now.
No, I appreciate you sharing all that and like speaking up. I know that that's your biggest message right now. You said something in a reel earlier that was like, if your friends were in cages or if your friends were shackled up, like, wouldn't you speak up for them? That really hit for me. I mean, I do speak up, and obviously like vegan, you're a vegan mentor and all that jazz, but even just that, like I could be doing more with sharing more reels on Instagram and everything. And you're right, like if it was one of my friends, like I would be speaking up for them and sharing the message, and we should do that for animals. I think you saying that also like kind of connects you back to just all those individuals, rather than, I don't know, sometimes like getting really overwhelmed with like the system itself and like animal agriculture as a whole, just kind of thinking about all those individuals and that they don't have a voice. They're just put somewhere in a warehouse where we'll never see. But it is our, what's the word I'm looking for? Like our duty to speak up for them.
Yeah. I think key points for that message there is like, we can always do more. And I'm not saying burn yourself out, and I'm not saying do this 24/7, and I'm not saying never have any other part of your life, but find ways to do more. And by that, it can mean the same hours each week, but get better at it. And just with time, you get better at anything. Um, get more effective as well, like with your strategy. Like instead of telling people you're wrong, the best thing to do is to say, at least according to Jack Higgs when we brought him on, like, how would you feel if you were the cow in this scenario? What would you want other people to do if you were the cow? Then that way we're not blaming. We're just basically going through hypotheticals. If you were the cow, how would you want to be treated? And that typically invokes the strongest response from people. But do more. get started. Like if you're thinking about it, like maybe that's the other thing. Maybe we should work on how we can help people do activism. Because when I first, younger me, thought about it, I was like, these people must be crazy. They're running around yelling at people. I don't know how to do that. You got the little share button. You can share this podcast. You can share a post, share mine, share Alex's, Alexis's, any of the other vegan content creators, share their posts. That's activism in and of itself. Look at everybody on the episode today. You might not be able to see it. You can see Alexis's. Like, we all have vegan on our t-shirts. Like, you can wear the shirts. Like, and that's as much for you as it is for the animals. You'll find your other vegan friends wearing vegan shirts. Like, good luck finding people in the public that are vegan if one of y'all doesn't wear something that says it. Because, like, what does a vegan look like? I mean, we got 3 very different looking vegans here. I think we're all beautiful, but in our own way. So anyways, do more. I think that we can all work together to do more.
Also, if you're a little bit stuck and you don't know how to get started, where to get started, and you want support, we do have a free vegan activism, like how to get started in vegan activism masterclass. And that is going to be hosted by our very own, well, two masterclasses coming up actually. The vegan activism one is going to be hosted by our very own vegan activism coach in Vegan Squad, Jessica Neves. So she's running that this week. If you're watching this in the future, you're like, that was ages ago. We do have the replay. So Alex will figure out how to put the link in somewhere for you. She's incredible. She is so inspiring, honestly. And this is what she does. Like, she helps you be able to become comfortable and confident with vegan activism in your own way at whatever level you are at. And she has so many different options for you. So this is incredible. And Alex is also running a vegan protein, plant-based protein, well, plant-based, vegan protein made simple masterclass. And it's all about just helping you be able to educate yourself, but also answer those annoying questions when people ask you about protein as well.
Yeah, thank you, Alexis. I'm super stoked. And yeah, if you want to follow Jess, her handle is Jess for the Animals. I'm pretty sure she just posted or changed it. But yeah. Speaking of, definitely important, coming to a masterclass. Yeah, Jess is awesome. We also have some videos that Jess made in our community. If y'all want to join that, the link will be below. But we have a online vegan community. You can meet other people, come chat with us. I have live Thursday calls every week with members of the community, just hang out. And we do have a lot of resources, including activism made by Jess of more about animal activism history, tips to get started, and you can just kind of lean on the community for support when you're coming back from activism, preparing for it, or just want to share about your vegan lifestyle with other people who completely understand and relate to you as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. Jess has literally created a whole online course for it. And she's so active. I think she uploads like a new online, like a video course like every single week. So definitely, like if you want access to that, we'll pop the links in below. I think that's a really, really good starting point because no one really talks about it in a way that's easy to be able to start doing, especially by yourself. And especially if you're in a place where you don't know anybody, you're doing this, you're in a place or you're in a, town, city, village, wherever, where this is not a thing. So this makes it very easy to become a thing for you.
100%.
It's like veganism in a sense. Like, it was probably scary and hard at the start and you didn't really know what to do. And then you realize, oh, other people have done this and they found ways. Look, you can use soy milk instead of regular milk. Like, there's ways to do it. The same is true for activism. It might seem scary or difficult, especially if you're trying to, like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. People have done this for decades, so we can copy the best. Like, we don't need to learn how to speak the way Gary Yourofsky learned how to speak. We can just copy his speech. Like, in my eyes, copying is the greatest, sincerest form of flattery. And like, if you do something well, I'm going to copy it. Like, I'm not the first person to have a green mohawk. I'll tell you that much. This has become my thing, but like, you can copy things that other people do and then it works for you as well if it worked for them. So Jess is really great at breaking down like the history of activism. Like, there actually has history behind this, and like, I think it's important to know some of these things. And then, like Alexis said, like, you need to continue educating yourself, because when people are like, well, okay, you've convinced me the animals deserve to live, but where do I get my protein? And if you can't answer that, then how are you going to help continue moving the conversation forward? And if you can't answer that, you should come to our masterclass. Alex will teach you how. But I think everything that Vegan Squad has become is basically the survival guide that I wish was created for my younger self. Like, we have the people that can teach you how to go vegan. We have the people that can teach you how to be fit as a vegan when everybody else in the world, at least my younger world, said that you couldn't. We have a community of over 200 people online so that you can find other people that feel similar to you. We do even a bit more, and this is going to be Alexis's area. Like, our goal is activism, right? And one way to be an activist is to be a coach. I've gotten so many clients that started with me that just saw the results and they wanted to look the way my other clients looked, but they weren't vegan. And by the end of 6 or 12 months, we had swapped in and out so many things in their plan that they walked away being vegan. So coaching could be a form of activism as well. I also think it's worth mentioning for those that care, you can support vegan businesses. When you go to a vegan restaurant and you support the vegan business owner there, that money that you spent, it's going to go back into some pockets of other vegans because they're going to go take their vegan business owner money and go give it to the vegan tattoo guy. Like, they're just not just going to go to a regular tattoo guy or girl. And when you work with the Vegan Squad, like any of our coaches, that's a requirement. It's not an option. It's a requirement to be a coach on our team, to be 100% vegan for the animals. Like, not 90%, not 80%. We have the real deal. So, like, we'll help you if you're not there yet. Like, that's also always an obvious, wonderful opportunity if somebody's not yet vegan. But we specialize with vegans and we help vegans around the world. And to take it to the next level, realizing we have a goal of helping 10 million people before. I don't know when that due date is by. I'm going to say in my lifetime, maybe your lifetime, Alexis. Alex, you got a few years
I'm
ahead of
older
us.
than you.
I know. Well, you're Asian and you're small, so you're probably gonna live forever. I'm a big white dude. Like, how many big guys do you know that live to be 100? I don't know any. So probably we're probably gonna leave around the same. Me, you, and Allie will clock out together 40, 50 years down the road. But to hit 10 million people in the next 40, 50 years, we're gonna have to work fast. And coaching is one way, but Alexis has been absolutely instrumental with my own page and with, I wrote it down, the personal branding and content creation for not only Vegan Squad, but also for other content creators. And so, back to what I was saying before, doing better, doing more. Yes, we want to help more people. Yes, we want to help more people in the coaching scene, but also with content coaching. Like, if you can have a more effective social media presence, something that I learned in the last year, like, hey, all those little things that say metrics that like show your if you've turned your account into an account that actually shows metrics, your views, follows, all those things, those are data and information that you can use to grow your page if you actually look at it and know what you're looking at. So Alexis is taking that on for us to be able to help other content creators around the world do better, because if we can help vegan content creators be better with their content, then we can reach more people and help more people go vegan. So it's all beautiful ways of reaching that 10 million number. So I don't know if that was your thing to announce, Alexis, or mine, but I just wanted to share it because I'm extremely excited for this.
Okay, so I want to tell do we have time? All right, I want to share a quick little background story. When John and I first spoke, he clicked on I followed him because I was following more vegan fitness influencers, and he liked my profile pic. It was like, it's pink, and I'm like doing this, and we ended up chatting about Vegan Squad initially. Like, long story, we ended up chatting about like being a vegan coach. And I said to him, like, this is insane because it feels so aligned. My personal goal when I first went vegan 10 years ago was I wanted to help 1 million people go vegan. I had no idea how I was going to achieve that. And he turned around and he said to me, fuck it, let's make it 10 million. And we've been coaching people, we've been helping them transform their lives, their health, their fitness, their bodies. And that's been incredible, right? Like, we absolutely love that journey. We're all vegan health and fitness coaches ourselves, but I've also got a background in personal branding and content creation coaching. And I thought, okay, if we could, and I've been working with John and our team, and I thought, if we could help vegan influencers, vegan businesses, vegan coaches, and other vegan content creators, or people who want to create more vegan content, obviously their audiences, or the vast majority of them, are going to be vegan. That's going to help us achieve our goal, because we're not just helping one person, we're helping one person who's going to impact thousands of people, millions of people. And that's the goal, right? Like, we're all in this together, and this is how we can achieve this mission together. And I think that's the most like impactful and powerful thing about it. And that's why I'm so emotional. Oh my God. I'm also very tired. It's early. And that's what's been so amazing about the clients that we've been working with. And I can drop, should I drop a name in here?
I think we're gonna have to have another episode before we drop this name. Like, I think we're
Okay.
gonna, not to like bait you, but now that you've got it started talking, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to do a whole next episode. We're gonna have some big information from Alexis, a big name to drop that I'm super excited for. A name that, if you've been listening along this far, you might already know from this podcast. But yeah, you're so right, Alexis. Like, it's going to be so much more than, to get the world to go vegan. It's more than just coaching. We're going to need to be everywhere that we can, bringing this vegan squad message as far as humanly possible in this lifetime. And just being brutally honest, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetimes. And I've made my peace with that. So my goal is to hand this off to the next generation, to people like Ashley on the team, give them the best shot possible. Because I don't know if I see a vegan world in this lifetime, but maybe in the next couple. If we do the things right now with our time and our existence, then I think we can. And I think, Alexis, you bringing forward the idea, it originally started just as a way to promote our own team and to get their messages out further. And then it's kind of like, well, if we're good at this, why limit ourselves to just our own? Let's help everyone. So, all right, we're gonna have to have another talk with you here soon. To cap this off, go ahead, start being an activist. Share this podcast with somebody. Put this out there. This helps us grow, but it's also going to help the world go vegan. If you want the world to go vegan, more people need to listen to this. And the whole goal of this podcast is to help the younger version of me become a better activist sooner and faster and be everything that I can. I'm not trying to be more than I can be, but I want to be 100% of what I can be before I die. And I want that the same for every single person listening to this. So you guys have the power, you have the information. It's been presented to you in the same way that at one point in time a vegan argument was presented. Here's the activist argument. If one of them clicked, the other should too. So we'll see you guys soon.
I also wanted to say, I don't think this is really spoken about, but I feel like the theme of this episode is like to have an open mind. Let me know if you relate. But yeah, like you had an open mind at so many parts of your journey with like going vegetarian, going vegan, starting your fitness journey, like being open-minded to the gym, being open-minded to having a coach, being open-minded to becoming an activist, to wearing a shirt, to sharing more on Instagram, becoming building your personal brand, then also starting a team. So yeah, I kind of wanted to drop that into just keep an open mind, because that's how you grow and step out of your comfort zone, like John said as well.
I think you helped me hit it, Alex. Vegetarian, vegan, activist, team or family, however you want to call it. Y'all are my family. I spend more hours a day talking to you than my blood family. And I am 100% a proponent of cut out anything that doesn't make you a better person or make you happier, and only put your time and energy to the people that actually love you and actually show up for you. And all you guys do that. Every single person on the team does that. And that's been the next level, because y'all have helped me be a better activist. Y'all have helped me believe in myself even more, and continue to challenge myself trying to run this thing, but I have a lot of support from wonderful people. So thank you. Good point, Alex. Good point.
On that note, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to another phenomenal episode of the Vegan Squad Pod. I hope that you're feeling inspired to pursue activism in your own way. That was our goal when we set out to launch this podcast. We want to help inspire other vegans to find their voices. But that's not all we do. We also have the Vegan Squad coaching team, where we help people find their way to veganism, and we help vegans get even more fit. This, for me, is another form of activism. The more that we can elevate the lives of the vegans that work with us, the more the rest of the world will see us living our best lives and be a little bit curious. Additionally, every single one of the coaches on the Vegan Squad coaching team is 100% vegan. So you know that by supporting us, you are literally supporting other vegans. Exclusive for listeners of this podcast. If you'd like to work with us and hop on a free call, click the link below. One of our expert coaches will reach out and help you elevate on your fitness journey. If anything that you learned today on this episode was useful to you, please share it with a friend, and we'll see you next week.